Hey, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
And you're watching In Depth.
Or maybe out of our depth.
Or maybe we're internationally in depth.
Oh, now you know.
All right, so this week we have been doing a lot of flying. We are now in Montreal. We're doing this from a garage. We had hoped to have like a really nice background for you of the Montreal skyline. So we'll have to maybe insert something right here for you. But yeah, we thought that this In-Depth should be all about the Model 3 since we just got back from the Model 3 delivery event in Fremont, California.
Yes.
And we are now the world's leading experts on the Model 3 since we have sat in one.
Yes.
First thing I noticed when we were waiting to get into the Model 3 is there was no insignia on the back. I mean, yes, there's the Tesla insignia, but there's no insignia to say that it's a Model 3. And I heard other people talking about how the Model S insignia is going away too. Do you think this is a thing, that there's just going to be no insignia on the Model 3, that it's so distinct that that's going to speak for itself?
I'm not sure. I mean, I think it would be smart if they put a Model 3 insignia on there. I could see why they wouldn't, maybe for this event, because it's so... I mean, obviously we know that it's going to be a Model 3.
I don't know. I kind of think... I mean, there's the Mazda 3, and so maybe they don't want it to get confused with that, and maybe they think it's just so distinctive they don't need any model numbers on the back. I don't know.
That's probably true.
What do you guys think? I don't know. Okay, so a lot of people say, I cannot live without my speedometer right in front of me on the instrument cluster. This screen off to the side, this 15-inch screen, is not going to work for me. What do you say now that we've been in the car?
Seeing the interior of this vehicle is just like, oh, this is what the future's going to look like.
Yeah.
And honestly, having your speed be slightly off-center to where you're driving, I mean, it gives it to you in digits. You don't have to read a dial or anything, so I think you're going to be just fine.
Yeah, I mean, I was sitting behind the driver, and it felt natural. Like, I don't miss having stuff there. At least I didn't on that.
Right, and besides, I mean, it's right, normally it's right behind your steering wheel, so, I mean, half the time your hands or the steering wheel is going to be covering it, and that's information that you'd probably want to see, but now it's just all off to the side. I think it's perfect. I think it's totally fine.
Yeah. Okay, so the interior of the car. There's going to be the standard, which we didn't see, and there's going to be the premium, which we did see, which has really nice, looks like vegan leather seats, and a all-glass roof.
Yep.
So that's $5,000 extra. What do you think of the interior?
I mean, stunning. Absolutely stunning. You have so much room in the front seat.
Yeah, you were mentioning that you were in the front seat next to the driver, and you had your feet like extended. And what do you think? Like
the dashboard just felt so far back. It's nice that the screen sort of came out. That was the only thing that sort of came out to where you needed to be able to touch it, but everything else was nice and far back, and just felt very open.
And your leg room felt good?
Yeah.
And my leg room felt really good in the back seat. I didn't feel like Jesse was pushed all the way back into me or anything like that. It felt very roomy and spacious. The all-glass roof. So this was on the premium edition vehicle that we were in.
Yep.
It felt amazing because you got this extra head height, first of all. Second of all, in the back seat, I felt very luxurious. I felt like almost like I was in the X because you just look up and it's just glass everywhere.
Right. So they definitely took a note from the Model X and put this huge piece of glass in the back.
It looks stunning from the outside.
Really good.
From the outside of the car, it looks like, whoa, what is that? Because
Yeah.
you don't see that very often.
Absolutely.
The pickup. So we asked our driver to floor it. He only got up to like 28, but over the span of like 2 seconds, and he said he wasn't even flooring it. He was just like giving it a third, and you could feel it. It was great acceleration.
Really good.
We were in, I think, the 5.1 second car, so it can go. There's two levels, right? There's the regular battery standard, which is 0 to 60 in 5.6, and then there's the longer range, which, now here's what I don't get. How do you get a faster speed? Is it a bigger motor?
You put more amps through the motor.
Oh, so because the battery's
bigger battery, you can put more power.
Gotcha. So, and it felt really, really good. It felt like you were in an S to me, like a, regular S. Steering wheel. What could the steering wheel do?
So the steering wheel had two wheels on it.
So it's kind of like on the S.
Yep, kind of like on the S. These were a little bit thinner, but anyway, it seemed like you could control most of the car from that. So our driver showed us he was adjusting the steering wheel.
Wait, so the steering wheel going up and down?
Yeah, can control it going up and down and in and out.
On the steering wheel?
On the steering wheel, both of the things. It looks like that's how you control the mirrors. The airports, or the air ducts.
The vents? Okay.
Yeah, completely controlled by the screen.
So that's how you change the direction of your airflow.
Oh my gosh,
Wow.
no way. That's how you do the air vents?
Yeah, put your hand up there, and it changes immediately.
Wow.
Right?
Oh my gosh, it
Now watch
totally
this.
does.
Ready? So if say you want the air to go 2 ways.
No,
split
sir.
it. Yep.
Holy moly.
That is cool.
So there's no little things that you have to be pushing around or anything like that. It's total touchscreen.
Oh wait, so you're talking about, so normally like in an S or an X, you have normal vents where you can slide them up
Right,
and down.
you slide them.
Right. So you're telling me that thing we saw with you're like a, I don't know what you call
it's
it, like a
motorized.
touch.
The completely,
And so you could just direct where the air is going to go.
and then you could split it into two paths. So
Now, I was in the back, and we put the air on 11.
Mm-hmm.
You can go at 11, and I could feel it really well in the back, and it wasn't that loud in the front. And it's this very, so it's like a line in the front where all the air can come out, and so there's no like vents that you see. It's just
Right.
this really seamless line.
Very
It's
clean.
Very clean.
Yep.
Very spaceshipy. The rear windows, I made them go down. That was my job, and they went down 3/4 of the way. So that you can't have them go down all the way, so your dog can like stick his head out fully. That
right.
kind of thing.
The front window went down all the way.
Okay. Now, I want to talk about this. A lot of people were upset at the event. They were like, well, Elon didn't give us many details about the car. I mean, he said that it can go 220 miles on the regular standard battery, 310 miles on the extended.
Yep.
He gave the 0 to 60 times, and that's about it. He didn't really give a whole lot more about the car. And they're like, we wanted to know more specs. Now,
Like we wanted to know the battery size and stuff like that.
but I do want to point out, this is a car that is supposed to kind of replace, if you will, the Camry or the Accord, the kind of mid-level cars that most of America drives.
Right.
And I don't think when you go to a Camry dealer, a Toyota dealer, that you're like, okay, give me the breakdown of the specs on the
Right.
engine.
What's the size of the
capacity
gas
and-
tank? How many cylinders does it have? What's the horsepower?
This is not a gearhead car, I don't think. I think this is, so it's for everybody. And so when everyone gets into a car, they just want to get them there. They don't care about the specs or the stats. And so to know what size the battery is, I think what Elon is saying, look, that's going to just confuse a lot of people. Let's just tell them how far do you want to be able to go.
Right. I think that this car is mainly for people who have not been in Teslas very much. And so a kilowatt hour doesn't really tell them that much. Having been in the car, I think, you say it's a Camry replacer. I think it's like a BMW replacer. I think it's an Audi replacer. It looks so good. It has so much torque and power, and
I guess what I meant was, I mean, for $35,000 minus the possible $7,500 federal tax credit and maybe your state tax credit, we're talking down in the Accord Camry range.
It's true.
And so for some people, they will go with the base model, and it would replace those cars.
okay.
I think that this is a similar moment to something like the iPhone experience, in that in around 2006, phones completely changed. They went from just being a hello, where are you, to basically getting an Uber and controlling your life.
It's true.
And so I feel like this is kind of like that moment. This is where the masses are going to go electric and are going to go autonomous.
Yes.
Because let's face it, every single Tesla that's leaving the factory has autonomous driving hardware in it.
Yep.
And you can then experience having the car drive you.
Right.
And humans have not experienced that before.
That's true.
So I think you're going to say to your kids, where were you on the night that the Model 3 was delivered? And I know
Possibly.
where I was.
That's true. I was sitting in one.
All right, let's talk about some of the costs here, because everyone now is thinking about, okay, when do I get my car and how much is it going to cost? The long-range battery, so we know the standard, you can get a $35,000 car, it'll go 220 miles.
Yep.
But if you want the long-range battery,
Yep.
that's going to cost you $9,000 more.
Whew. Okay.
Okay,
Yep.
but that does get you up to 310 miles, so another 90 miles of range.
Yep.
These are questions you're going to start needing to ask yourself is,
Yep.
do I, for 9,000, do I need the extra 90 miles?
Right.
I don't know. That's up to you. The premium package, which includes the glass roof, as we said, and the upgraded seats, is going to be $5,000. So again, you're going to have to ask yourself, is that what you need? So we're now talking, if you get the long-range battery and the premium package, we're at $49,000. So those are two big upgrades, and we're not done yet.
Yep.
If you want the premium paint, so we're talking like the pearl white or some of the metallic colors, you're going to spend an extra $1,000. If you want the 19-inch wheels, which are pretty cool looking on this car, that's $1,500. That's $1,500. If you want the Autopilot turned on, so let me be clear, you're going to, no matter what you pay, you're getting the Autopilot hardware in the car.
Yep.
You're getting all the sensors, all the cameras, that's there. If you want it turned on, it's $5,000.
Okay.
And that's $5,000 when you buy it. It's going to cost you more, we think, if you wait and get it turned on later.
Okay.
If you want it to self-drive, which it can't do now,
Right.
that's $3,000 to be turned on. Again, it's probably going to be more if you get it turned on later, but the hardware's there.
Yep.
So that gives you an idea of some of the costs, so you can start planning out your spreadsheet of what
Right.
you want to get. I want to talk about the fact that it has a lot of other little things that no one kind of talks about.
Right.
They're not as sexy, but it does have dual zone climate control. So that
that's
means
front and back.
Front and back.
Which is very nice.
It's got 2 USB ports in the front. And it's got
like,
2 phone holders.
Right, so it's sort of right, down where you'd have like a cup holder or something like that. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think that's where I'd want my phone.
Yeah.
I mean, having a big screen, I definitely still want my phone somewhere. It's nice to have it down below. It definitely looked like a good spot.
Let's talk about how you get into this car.
Mm-hmm.
So we had been wrong about we thought you need a fob like any other car, but no. This car, you're pretty much going to get into with your phone.
Right.
It's going to Bluetooth to your car, so you're just going to walk up to your car, get in. That is smart, because think about it. We all don't go anywhere without our phones now.
Right.
And so less to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't happen to have your phone, you lost your phone or whatever, there is a card, an NFC card, and so you'd hold it up to the B-pillar, and boom, you're in your car.
Right, so phone and wallet.
Right.
That's taking out one key thing
Right.
that you have in your pocket.
Right.
Which is your keys.
Right. 'Cause
Finally,
keys are
I don't need this clunky
Yes.
fob thing.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, keys are disappearing. It comes with a 15-inch touchscreen display. So what is a 15-inch touchscreen display? Well, in the S and the X, which you've probably seen, that's a 17-inch. So it is a little bit smaller, but not a whole lot smaller.
Right, and it's a different configuration. I mean, you're getting it in sort of a landscape as opposed to a portrait mode. I think it felt bigger to me than an S.
I think it felt bigger because it's coming towards you a little bit more. It's out of the dash. It's
Yeah.
closer to the driver, so it does feel bigger. So you're getting FM internet streaming audio.
Mm-hmm.
At the base model, you're getting textile seating. You're getting onboard maps and navigation. So I want you to think about this. Normally we look at our maps on our little, iPhone or Android phone. It's tiny. This is a much bigger map, much easier to read.
Right.
There's Wi-Fi and LTE internet connectivity. There's voice-activated controls, which is really cool. There's so many things in the car that you can do by hitting a button on the steering wheel and saying, navigate to here,
Right.
or go to this radio station, or all these different cool commands. So
Yep.
that's really awesome. There's Bluetooth hands-free calling and media streaming. There's 60-40 split folding rear seats, so you can maximize the cargo area in the back however you need it. You want to have a passenger back there with some extra storage, you want it all folded back, you can do that. There's a backup camera, and on most cars with a backup camera, you've got a tiny little screen to try and make out what you're doing.
Right.
Here, you've got a nice big screen, so you can really get into parking space as well. It's got auto-dimming rear view mirror. It's got one-touch power windows throughout, so you just push the button once, rolls down. You got power adjustable side mirrors. You got a 12-volt power outlet, which is great for camping and charging things. So let's talk about the safety of the car.
Yeah, so during the event, we saw the Model 3 versus a Volvo in a pole collision test.
A side pole.
Yes, and oh my gosh, the Volvo got collided with the pole. The pole went in about a foot.
And the Volvo is the second best car after the Model 3.
Right, so the Model 3, the pole basically just bounced off the car. I mean, it went in maybe 3 inches.
Right, because of that rigid battery.
Right, so fantastic safety. I mean, you're driving a sedan, but basically it's built like a tank.
Right.
You just have a completely rigid brick in the bottom of your car.
And I want to talk about that because a lot of times it's the sedan that gets given to your kids to drive.
Right.
And when you're 16, 17, 18-year-olds are driving, let's face it, they're not great drivers yet usually.
Right.
And so you're giving them a car that normally, a normal sedan is not the greatest car for safety.
Right.
Model 3 is a super safe car.
It's true.
So there's full LED exterior lighting. There's 7 cameras, forward-facing radar. There's 12 ultrasonic sensors, which enable active safety technologies, including collision avoidance and automatic emergency braking. There's 6 front row and 2 side curtain airbags. There's 3-point safety belts with belt reminders for driver and 4 passengers. So belt reminders is you get in the car, your passenger forgot to buckle up, driver knows it.
Right.
I know that seems like a small thing, but I can't tell you how many times kids forget to buckle up.
Right.
There's the 2 latches, which are the lower anchor and tethers for children, so you can put in second row child seats. There's electronic stability and traction control, 4-wheel anti-lock disc brakes with electronic parking brake. So you're not getting rear drum brakes. You're getting all 4 wheels that have disc brakes, which is really cool.
That's
and
really
that
nice.
electronic parking brake is really cool because you're not pulling some thing to do it. It's electronic.
Yep.
There are child safety locks. There's an anti-theft alarm system. There's tire pressure monitoring system. So this means, I can't tell you how many times I use this. You're driving along, something feels like, what? You go and check your tire pressure from the driver's seat.
Yep. It's very nice.
The warranty is a 4-year, 50,000-mile limited warranty. The battery is warranted for 8 years, 100,000 miles. And if you get the long-range battery, it's 120,000 miles. I think that's pretty cool.
Yep.
Supercharging, you get about 170 miles of range every 30 minutes of supercharging.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've talked about this before, depends on how low or how high you are charged, but that gives you a good idea. And of course, you can charge this at home. You can get 37 miles of range per hour if you plug it into a 40 amp outlet at home.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good. And the top speed. So if you get the standard model, you can go top speed 130 miles an hour.
Wow.
If you get and I don't think I've ever even gotten that fast.
I've never gone that fast, and I've never driven a car that can go that fast.
And then
other than the Model X.
Right. And then if you get the long range model, top speed is 140 miles an hour.
Right.
So if you need to get away from a lower range Model 3, that's the only way to do it, I guess. And the colors are solid black, which is standard. There's midnight silver metallic, which is $1,000. There's deep blue metallic, which is $1,000. Silver metallic for $1,000. Pearl white multicoat for $1,000. Red multicoat for $1,000. So basically, if you want to
anything other than black is
$1,000,
a little extra.
And then the wheels, 18-inch Aero are standard. 19-inch Sport are $1,500.
Well, that's good because I like the Aero. They look really cool.
With the premium package, you get the upgraded interior with additional features and premium materials. So, for instance, you get premium heated seating and cabin materials throughout, including open-pore wood decor. And we're talking real wood. The wood looked amazing.
The wood looked really good.
Yeah, I thought it might look like plastic. It did not. It looked awesome.
Yep.
You get two rear USB ports.
Nice.
So in addition to the 2 front ones, you get 12-way power-adjustable front seats, the steering column, side mirrors, and you get custom driver profiles. What does that mean? Obviously, you get in the car, Jesse hits Jesse, the car conforms to the way he likes it, with his mirrors, his steering wheel, his seat. That is really nice. And then, of course, you can put other drivers in there as well.
Yep.
You get the premium audio system with more power, tweeters, surround speakers, and subwoofer. You get tinted glass roof with ultraviolet and infrared protection. Don't know why you need infrared protection, but you've got it. It's got auto-dimming, power-folding, heated side mirrors. That's cool for winter climates. You've got LED fog lamps. You've got a center console with covered storage and docking for 2 smartphones like we talked about. But in here, you've got a big center storage that you look down into.
Yeah, it actually swooped down into more of the console. So, I mean,
So you could put like a little bag or something like that.
definitely a lot of room. And definitely like a lot of room for like an organizer. I can't wait to see what goodies we can find for the organizer.
So the enhanced autopilot, if you pay the $5,000 to turn that on, you'll get basically, we've talked about this before, tactical aware cruise control. So it will match speed with traffic conditions. It'll keep within a lane. It'll automatically change lanes. It'll transition from one freeway to another. It'll exit the freeway, and it'll self-park at your destination.
Right. So everything that the Model S and X can do right now.
Right. And then if you pay the $3,000 for the full self-driving capability, in the future, we don't know exactly when, but in the future, the Model 3 will be capable of conducting trips with no action required by the person in the driver's seat.
Wow.
Wow.
So I guess the passenger has to do all the driving.
Exactly. The Model 3 is going to weigh 1,000 pounds less than the Model S, so it's a lighter car. The ground clearance is 5.5 inches. It seats 5 adults. I wasn't in the back with 2 other adults, but I'm going to assume that if you're with 3 burly men, that's going to be tight. Because that's the same in the S. Three big men are tight. But if you're in there with like a child and 2 adults, no problem.
Yep.
Luggage capacity is 15 cubic feet because you've got the
Trunk and the front.
And don't forget, in the trunk, there's also a sub-trunk, kind of like in the Model S or X, which is cool because you don't have the normal exhaust system back there. So yeah, the curb weight is 3,549 pounds. The long-range version is 3,814 pounds. And the weight distribution is almost 50-50. It's 47 front, 53 rear, which is really cool. And the body is a hybrid steel aluminum body. I don't know what that means. I wish that I had pinged the outside to see if it was aluminum. I think it is.
Yeah.
So I think there's a little more steel in this one than in the Model S and X, but I
Right.
think it's still an aluminum body.
Yep.
The drag coefficient is 0.23. So to put that in perspective, I think that the Model S is 0.21.
Wow.
It's got double wishbone virtual steer axis front suspension with coil over twin tube shock absorbers and stabilizer bar. Independent multi-link rear suspension with twin tube shock absorbers and stabilizer bar. And electromechanically boosted 4-wheel anti-lock disc brakes with electronic brake force distribution. And it comes with a 20-foot mobile connector so that you can plug it into any outlet. It'll have all the adapters that you need.
So you can the 240 volt NEMA, the regular 120 volt NEMA,
And also
the J1772 public charging adapter.
Right, so everything you need to charge it pretty much anywhere.
Yep.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of In Depth where we covered the Model 3. If you would like to, please subscribe, because we would love to have you added to our subscriber list. It just is a great way for you to keep up with all of our latest videos, and it lets us know that you like what we're doing. So please like and subscribe. Also hit that little bell button, which is in a new place now with the new, if you've got the new YouTube, but it's still there. After you subscribe, a bell will appear. Hit that, and that'll give you notifications saying, hey, Zach and Jesse have a new video.
All right, so thank you so much for watching. Now you know.